All right. Let's see where I'm at. See where this is at. If it's going. Yep. Okay. Uh, Running a little bit late. Some technical issues here, so I'm gonna gotta get a moment here to gather myself. But welcome to week number 4 of the semester, spring 2024. We are moving through kind of the basics of cell biology and chemistry, and we're going to wrap that up here this week. So, as you know, we've got the exam here coming up at the end of the week for my in-person classes. That is tomorrow, and for my online classes over the next couple days here. Let me get you the lowdown, and let's get right into this evening's office hours. So let me just grab some slides here. Announcements. Let's see here. Where's the one that I'm looking for? Let's go with there it is. I'll go with that one here. Not that one. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. All right, here's the fun one. I'll work on it here as we publish it. It is exam number 2. It will be 67 questions this time. That makes it worth 100 points, and it is chapters 2 and 3. Here we are, ladies. Got my announcements there. There's the stats for the exam that we have coming up this week. Exam number 2 is available on February the 8th. We're looking at about 67 questions there. Point and a half there per question, which again, according to my calculations, comes out to 100 points on this, more than the 75. So we increase the number of questions. Yeah, 105, 100 and a half point there, but generally that's what we're looking at there. Chapters 2 of the chemistry of life, chapter 3 cell biology are going to be the main topics there as it relates to those questions. What else do I want to say here as it relates to this? Let me get my screen pick of this. All right, got myself smiling and everything. I'll save that, post that on my picture there. And the other thing is, I wanted to do, speaking of technology that I was having issues with, I was going to record this a little bit and do a Zoom in which I could, it gives me like a digital write-up of this. So let's see if I can't find that one as well here. There's Zoom. I'm going to start a new meeting. Mic check, mic check. I'll pause myself. Mic check, mic check. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll keep it like that. I'll record the screen. That's screen number 2 here primarily. And then can I record my sound? Let's see here. Record this computer captions. Let's try record. Recording this meeting. Continue. Boom. Let's see what that does for me. Oh no. Let's try it. Wait, is there an app I wanted to do? Timer, music. Ooh, there's music, even virtual backgrounds. All right, sorry. Getting distracted here. But let's take a look at today's announcements. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my online office hours. This is for primarily my online students, but as well as my in-person students. We're pretty much on the same schedule here. This is in preparation for our exam number 2 related to the Chemistry of Life, Chapter 2, and Cell Biology, Chapter 3. And so, again, this is related to right before we get into histology, which is going to be chapter 4, where we look at these cells more grossly specific to anatomy and physiology. So cells that we would particularly see in the body in different regions of the body is what we're going to be looking at in the next couple of chapters here. But kind of give you a heads up as to what to look in the look forward to over the semester here, as well as maybe some preparation for the exam as well. So let's do this. Open up my canvas for you guys here. And I think while I'm at it, let's do this. I've got the opportunity to, let's do a little bit of extra credit for my online students. My in-person class has gotten this one, so I'm going to give you a new one, this one for my online students particularly. So what I'm going to ask you guys to complete, my in-person class has gotten one of these as well. But what I want is to complete this Kahoot. It's a kind of a practice Kahoot that I have set up for you guys. Take a look at some of the questions. I have pulled up some of these questions from directly from like the exam here to kind of practice, see where you guys are at. I'm going to assign it to my online students here. And yeah, I'll assign it to my online students here. Create that there. Let's see where it is. Here's the QR code, ladies and gentlemen. I'll throw the QR code up there. And so this is a Kahoot. So you can go up on that QR code there with your phones and utilize that. This is for, let's say, 10 points of extra credit for you participating here. So 10 points of extra credit for participation in this Kahoot. This is particularly for my online students. So the way that you're going to have to do this is you're going to have to give me your first name, then your last initial. I'll tally them at the end of the close date. So that looks like I'm going to close it tomorrow at about midnight. I'll tally up that and I'll give those points accordingly. So here it is right there, a little practice Kahoot for you to practice with, one that we did in our classes on during during our class on Tuesday this week with my students. So there it is. No, there's just a couple of seconds there. This is for the online, this is for the extra credit Kahoot. And so kind of just going into a little bit more detail about the content of, or let's yeah, a little bit more content of the exam here as we get into exam number 2. I'll take a look at some of these item banks here, so kind of give you an idea of some of these questions that you should be familiar with as it relates to maybe even the practical portion. So a good 50 of these questions will be multiple choice questions related to chemistry, cell biology. The big main concepts are atomic structure, right? So going all the way back to basic chemistry, where we talk a little bit about atomic structures, subatomic particles, protons, neutrons, and electrons, cations and anions. Then we get into these chemical bonds and chemical reactions. So what are the different types of chemical reactions generally? How are they defined? What are the different types of chemical bonds? And I mean ionic, covalent, nonpolar covalent, and polar covalent, as well as hydrogen bonds. And then finally, we get into a little bit more of the inorganic molecules, particularly water, salts, acids, and bases. And then the other aspect is organic molecules, and those are pretty much what you and I are made up of. So we're talking about the fats, the proteins, the nucleic acids, DNA, RNA, and ATP. And then the last one is, I think, proteins, right? So fats, carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acids are the 4 organic compounds. Again, I encourage you guys to watch the extra credit video prior to taking the test, because I think it will be helpful as well. But if we get into particularly the chemical level, we can take a look at some of these practice questions here. So, the chemical notation, when I refer to the chemical reactions, and then chemical bonds, right? What are the bonds that hold water molecules together? The weaker bonds that hold water molecules together, that hold, those water molecules together. And then when a pair of electrons is shared between the atoms, what type is that bond formed? Remember again, so we're talking about the type of bonds that occur, and then even some of the reactions. So bonding of calcium phosphorus is an example of what type of reaction. So that's kind of the big themes as it relates to the chapter 2, just basic chemistry. Can you identify the components of an atom? What are the different elements? How are they defined? And how do they interact with each other? The next component is cells. So cells is going to be looking at the different parts of a cell, right? The organelles. What are we looking at related to the organelles? And then the other component being this idea of cell membrane permeability and being a semi-permeable membrane. So the cells allow, how do I put this? Let me put this a little bit differently. Cells can maintain their normal shape based on the concentration of the solution that they're in. So in a normal isotonic solution, a normal solution that we see in blood, what we have is normal movement of water. We have a regular movement of water inside and outside of the cell that maintains that cell's normal shape, as opposed to the scenario where we might have water rushing in. Why? Because the solution is either, in this case, too low in the outside of the cell. There's more concentration inside, and so that causes cells to rush in. What type of solution is that called? And so this hypertonic, hypotonic, and isotonic is going to be a big one as it relates to the cell biology, right? The permeability of cells, like how does osmosis occur? But again, here I'm just kind of pulling up the schedule just to give you kind of a preview as to what to expect here into our next couple of weeks. So we're going to get into chapter 4 next week, starting next week. And then that's really the histology component of it. Here's the schedule that I'm looking at here. So we finished chapter 2, chapter 3 here in February 7/8. So the exam's going to open up tomorrow. Tomorrow. Exciting day for everybody. We open up the exam tomorrow. My in-person online classes are going to take it starting that on Thursday here, and then we'll get through the weekend, and then chapter 4, the histology. Now on Thursday we have professional development, so my in-person classes won't be able to participate in the in-person as they normally do, but they'll have some work to get through as it relates to the chapter 4 this material. Let me cancel that. Chapter 4 this material, as we're going to get into the different types of cells, the different cell types, where they're located, and looking at that in terms of the human body. And then our first system of the semester here in week 6, we start the integumentary system, skin, hair, and nails. Then we start with our bones, the skeletal system, and then the joints and muscles before we take a break, come back, finish up on muscles, and then the nervous system. So we're in week 4 here, ladies and gentlemen. We've finished the first quarter of the semester. We're going to finish our review of chemistry and cell biology, and after this week we're really going to start to take a turn towards more human anatomy and physiology specific. We've been talking quite a bit about general chemistry, general biology, but we're going to get a little bit more in depth into the human biology. We'll look at the different cells of the body in histology. We'll look at skin, hair, and nails and integumentary system, and then we'll look at the bones, muscles, and nerves here in the next following weeks here. And so I don't have too many new announcements here. So again, this is a concept related to my online students here, where we are going through the review of chapters 2 and 3, and in the next feature here we'll be kind of finishing up to the histology. But again, I will wrap up by saying thank you guys. I look forward to all your responses. Take care. And again, I look forward to all the hard work that you've accomplished. I'm grateful for the hard work that you've accomplished so far, and look forward to all the responses that you guys have coming in this semester ahead. Thank you, and have a great evening.